He's got a new book coming out, and it's about, and this is the best part.
I love
It's
this.
a coffee table book about coffee tables. Yeah.
Is that clever? I think that is so clever.
I think so, too. Did you get to meet him backstage?
I did.
He looks like a fun guy, doesn't he?
I love his hair.
Oh, I do, too. This guy could be a little bonkers, really. Anyway, if you will, would you please welcome Kramer?
I don't know, it's the hair or something. I don't know.
Yes. Kramer. So, coffee table book about coffee tables.
Yeah.
Where'd you come up with this idea?
Well, I'll tell you, Regis. Actually, this is a true story. I was skiing at the time.
You know, when I'm skiing, Kramer, I'm trying not to kill myself. You're writing books.
Well, now, you kids don't go out and try that. You stay in school.
Have you always had an interest in coffee tables? Because really, I love coffee tables.
Oh.
And I thought I was the only one.
See, the beauty of my book is, if you don't have a coffee table, it turns into a coffee table.
Did I tell you this guy was bonkers?
This coffee table is full of pictures of celebrities' coffee tables.
That's true. That's right.
Yeah? Well, I'm not in there. Where's mine?
Oh, it's on file right here.
I'm telling you, this guy's bonkers. He really is.
But he's adorable.
Yeah, he is. He's a nice-looking guy. We'll be right back in a moment.
Hey, Gary here. Welcome to BookMob episode 67. Now, today I'm going to be talking about coffee table books. What are coffee table books? Coffee table books are also known in the good old days as cocktail table books. And those that meant that when you had evenings at home with guests, you'd have the books on the coffee table. Your guests would sit down, and perhaps one or two of them would pick up a book and page through it, and it would inspire conversation. I guess in the days when I was a kid, the adults in my life tended to have guests coming over almost 7 days a week to drink and talk and be communal. My life hasn't turned out like that. I don't even have a coffee table. I have lots of coffee table books, but I don't put them out for inspiring conversation. Now, if you have a coffee table book, it can think about it this way. You put a coffee table, say, on Mount Everest, and then someone comes along, a guest, sits down, picks up the book and starts thinking about climbing history, climbing disasters. So a coffee table book immediately gives you the freedom to start a conversation that you would never really had if not for the coffee table book. Usually coffee table books are large format, filled with photographs with minimal text, and it supplies the reader with a relaxed way of finding out about a particular subject, whether it be travel, whether it be history, artifacts, whatever. I mean, the coffee table books, if you go to a bookshop and look at so-called large format coffee table books, the subjects are enormous, which is great because if you buy one of those for the purpose of inspiring conversation in your own entertaining social life, well, you're on a winner there if that's what you want to do. And I guess historically is, like I said, I don't have a coffee table. A couple of my friends that don't have, people I know don't have coffee tables as a thing anymore. I'm not saying they don't exist, but perhaps it was a phase of social history where you had couches and a table, and in between the couch and table you had a coffee table where people put their drinks, not necessarily coffee, but I guess the idea was coffee was a very non sort of adversarial way to begin a conversation. So if you look at coffee table books, they're filled with usually beautiful photographs of illustrations, photographs of artists, photographs of scenery, animals. I mean, the list just keeps going on and on. So the idea is if you buy a coffee book, should you read it page to page? Now, when I buy a coffee book, I do tend to read the book page to page, and I put it away. But occasionally I will take out a coffee table book that I've bought and just have a look at the pictures, or indeed I will just read the text of some pictures that I originally saw and didn't actually engage in it textually. So it's one of those things that it's like a gift that keeps on giving. You can look at a photographic book, you can look at a coffee table book for years on end and find something new. So that is one of the great things about coffee table books. And again, even though I don't have a coffee table, I still enjoy my coffee table books. Now, if you think about how the superficial attitude towards design, and how if you look in architectural magazines or home magazines, where they displaying how people live, celebrities and anybody's, you'll usually find a coffee table, and on the table you'll see a whole lot of books. You may not be interested to know what those books are, but my attitude is, why don't you zoom in and find out what people are putting on their coffee tables, because those books have been produced by people who are experts in photography, experts in storytelling, and it is always beautiful to find books that you can actually go back to year after year and enjoy the brilliant pictorial expression, especially photography, obviously, but artists as well. Even a book on sculpture. We have 5,000 pictures of sculptures that you would never ever see in real life, and it can build an appreciation of art. It can build an appreciation of pop culture, and at the end of the day, your coffee table books are in some way a message to others of who you are and what you think about. And some people might find that interesting when they come to your house, pick up the book and just page through it and go, oh, I didn't know that so-and-so liked this. So it's a very good way to present yourself in a superficial manner, to begin, like I said in the beginning of the thing, to inspire conversation. Coffee table books are great as a gift. If you're looking to gift someone, whether their birthday, celebration, anniversary, anything, if you go to a bookshop, find, perhaps think about the person you want to give the gift to, think about who they are, what they've done, where they've been, and then come up and you'll go to the bookshop, and I promise you'll find something that really, really inspires you to present them a photographic coffee table book as a gift that keeps on giving, and something that the people or the person that you present the book to is always going to remember, because they're always going to, I remember so-and-so gave me this book and it was fantastic. It was about temples in Cambodia or whatever it is. And people appreciate being shown or directed to other avenues of culture or social discourse, and coffee table books are one great way of showing the world to people who might not have seen that in the past. Okay, so I'm going to go through what I've chosen. I've got many coffee table books, so I've chosen, I think, 10 of the books that I really, really get a lot out of. I almost remember buying each one separately, and for instance, this is David Lynch's Between Two Worlds. He had back in 2015, he had a exhibition of his artwork. I'm talking about David Lynch, the film director who recently passed away. And in 2015, he had a touring gallery experience, and I bought this in Brisbane, Australia. And again, it's just this idea of showing his artwork that may not have been available to the everyday person, and you can spend a few minutes just going through this, enjoying David Lynch's work and finding out more about him and some of the simple things and great things that he did and how his creative process worked. Now, excuse me. I I forgot. I also bought a postcard of David Lynch at the same exhibition. Okay, another great one. I got this as a Forbidden Art. I think I bought this from Kiyono Kana in 1999, and this was I was very into erotic art at the time, and someone who knew me said, "I think Gary will really like this," and it's just filled with drawings, etchings, sculptures of an erotic nature, which obviously I was very happy to browse. And even now and again, I go through it and I go, "Oh, that's wonderful! Sculptures, paintings, etchings," and this is a great one. Metal Figures animated image depicts a menage a trois. A sexual threesome from 1930, the one on the one there. I mean, isn't that fantastic? It's just this brilliant stuff. And again, when you go back and you sit down and just look through these books, you go, there is just so much in the world, isn't there? There's just so much of everything. You literally cannot get enough of anything. Culture, art, history, it's all beautiful. This is a good one. A close-up view of a carved area of quartz. It's a penis with a woman sitting on top. And it's just beautiful art. Just outstanding stuff. And again, I do look through this occasionally just to remind myself of where I came from. My next one is Rock Stars. Now, this came out I think in 1985 or... I've just got to look it up because it seems, I think it was 85 or 84. Let's see. Yes, 84. So a lot of the artists here in this, that's Annie Lennox in the back there from Eurythmics, Jimi Hendrix, Brian Wilson, who just passed away as well a couple of weeks ago in 2025. And again, it's lots of photographs, minimal text. David Bowie, the greatest artist of all time, according to me. And just beautiful books to sit down and enjoy the process. The one I'm going to show you now is, I bought this for my son, Minecraft Blockopedia. I bought it for him when he was very young, and he grew out of it. But I just loved the way it was packaged. It was packaged in this box, and here it is in this cube, in this Minecraft cube, and basically it's just this endless sort of wonderful imagery, great pictures, and telling you, I mean, I don't play the game, my son played the game, but I don't, of how to navigate the world of Minecraft. So a beautiful book, nicely boxed, and the world's Minecraft is made extremely of blocks. Some help you build, some help you stay alive. Every block you discover opens up new possibilities and exciting adventures. Now, it's just a great thing to sit back and just page through and have some fun. Okay, now this book, I knew a guy in 2001, and I said, I kind of like vintage pornography or, images from the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s, and he, where did it come from? I think he took the label off. I think this was stolen from a library for me. Not that I knew that he was going to steal it, but he stole it and said, "Oh, here you go." So I got it off him for for $5 or something. But it's a beautiful book of there's Toulouse-Lautrec or an imagining of Toulouse-Lautrec getting his rocks off while painting a picture. And it's just, a beautiful throwback to the 1970s of starlets. Now, when was this published? Let's find out when this was published. Okay, this was published in 1984. This is a bit more text. There's a lot of text involved in this one. And I have read some of the text over the years, but essentially I just enjoyed looking at the images. And again, another beautiful coffee table book that you can leave out for your friends and perhaps inspire a conversation. The next book is, this is Robert Capa, who was a very well-known war photojournalist in the Second World War. Unfortunately, he was killed, I think, in Vietnam. I think he stood on a mine or something, or was killed in Vietnam. And this is just a fabulous pictorial history of all the photographs he took of not just war, not just violence and death, but also people in general. And he was always in the front lines. Now, Robert Capa is one of those famous people. He was one of the very few photojournalists who went ashore on D-Day on June 6, 1944. And here's an unfortunate photograph. An American soldier killed by German snipers, April 18, 1945. This is quite a well-known photograph of this young man who was shot and killed. And I think the war ended like a couple of days later in late April, early May. And this young man was setting up a machine gun in a building of a town they just took over. And Capa was actually there when the young man got shot. And it's such a disturbing and, I guess, historical photograph of how war just rips out the guts of your feeling. And Capa really, really, I mean, he knew Picasso. He experienced so many, there's Salvador Dali. He knew a lot of artists. He knew a lot of people. He got into a lot of scrapes. And unfortunately, like I said, I think he died in Vietnam. I think it was Vietnam. I'll have to look it up. Does it give a bio of where? Here we go. In 1954, in an assignment for Life magazine, Capa went to Vietnam, where he was killed by stepping on a landmine. That was probably during not the American intervention in Vietnam, but the French intervention of Vietnam. So again, another great coffee table book to inspire conversation, to inspire ideas. Okay, this is one of my favorite books. This is Black Star. It's 60 years of photojournalism. Black Star is basically like a production company, well, not a production company, but a company that sells photographs of photojournalists who are working around the world. So they don't work for Black Star, but they are contracted to sell photographs, and this is how they make their living, the photojournalists, that is. And this one is just packed with amazing photographs from across the world. And again, it seems that war photography seems to be the thing that everyone, I don't know, I guess these things sell books, but I'm not sure if that's the way to go. Okay, what's going on up here? Moments of Revolution. This is 1980. This photograph on the right-hand side here, where my thumb is. End of the name, David. This is in Eastern Europe. Czechoslovakia, Romania, Bulgaria, Poland, and Hungary. So basically, this is the end of the Soviet era in Europe. And I mean, that's just one of the photographs. There's thousands and thousands of photographs in here from Tibet, Mongolia, Africa, and there's Billy Clinton with Hillary. It's quite a great photo, don't you think? The two screaming vampires. Again, so this is a great book for having just out and getting a very brief sense of history with images. Now, this is RankXerox. I bought this in 1982 as a kid, and it's a graphic novel, which is generally not considered a coffee table book. However, the art and the text and this narrative of this is quite a rare book, and and it's sort of quite violent, and at the same time, RankXerox, he's a character, he's a half human, half robot, living in in our world. This was written, I think, in the 70s or 80s, and I've always enjoyed when people pick this up and get kind of freaked out by the content, because it's very, very dark, and it does inspire a lot of conversation. Well, for those of you who pick it up. We're getting close to the end. The War. I bought this in New York City when I was there, I think in 2009. And I'd known that there was a TV series by Ken Burns called The War. And this is a very, very a great historical document that goes through various individuals who fought in the Second World War. It's very text heavy, so it kind of it doesn't fall under coffee table cocktail books essentially, but you can get a lot of knowledge, a sense of purpose just from looking at the pictures and reading the annotated ideas. You don't have to read all the text to get the images, to get meaningful understanding of the images. Now, I have actually read this book cover to cover, but I just enjoy the fact that it's a wonderful historical record of World War II. Okay, this is Geoff Stewart's Secrets in Stone. This is about, I bought this in about 1996 or 1997. And one of the things I did with this book is that the great thing about this book, because it talks about the architecture, the buildings in and around Sydney, the names of the people, just things like the brickwork, who made the bricks, how the bricks were made, various weird monuments in and around Sydney, and it just basically is a stone record of Sydney, Australia. And back then, I was very interested in finding out about history. So what I did was, when I read this book, the one thing I did was, I think, how can I go and see that? And I followed up, and I went to these. With this book in hand, I went to various places where I was inspired by some of these pictures were taken in order to see for myself. Like, for instance, Lady Macquarie's chair, which is easy to see. Anyone can see that. You just have to walk down. And there's various commentary on building, stonework, and the people who built the Sydney from the earliest days of the colony. So anyone who wants to find out about Sydney and how it was physically brought together, this is a wonderful book, Geoff Stewart's Secrets of Stone, Discover the History of Sydney. And I really, really enjoyed. I held this book up for myself for quite a few years, and I really liked reading the book and then going to the actual places in Sydney where some of those photographs were taken to see for myself. And that was an excellent experience. And here's another book I bought in New York in 2009. I was obviously enjoyed the sort of pin-up girl attitude of, what's this guy's name? Alberto Vargas. I don't know much about him, but like, beautiful picture of Marlene Dietrich. Who's this? Doesn't say. Modern Bride. 1948. That's just beautiful, isn't it? 1948. 1942. So, it's just these beautiful prints of obviously gorgeous women in Legacy Nude, posted by Giandi, 1950. Playboy tried to buy this painting to help fill up the 1963 schedule. Alberto refused, saying the painting had been stolen. Look at that. That's just a beautiful painting there. So this according to the author, a new authorized collection of work by the legendary illustrator and Playboy magazine contributor Alberto Vargas, including a large number of previously unpublished and little-known paintings and drawing. It's a beautiful book to go through, and I'm sure people will enjoy just having a guide to look through some of these pictures while they're waiting while you make their cocktails. Okay, finally, the book I chose, as this is my favorite coffee table book, and again, this is not essentially, you could say this is not a cocktail table book because it is mass text, but it is a beautiful book about the work of the Russian film director Andrei Tarkovsky, and it just goes into all of his films with beautiful photographs, like I said, loads and loads of text, and it goes through each film that he made, and it discusses, what was going on in the film, who was in it, and it's an informative. But don't forget, this guy was working during the Soviet era. I mean, he was working, whilst the world was at the edge of the atomic war, and I just find this whole his style of filmmaking. I don't know if you know Tarkovsky, but check it out because his films are just quite overwhelmingly brilliant. They really, really bring a sense of someone who's living in a society, I guess, starved of freedom, who managed to produce so many films that are quite the opposite of freedom, because in his films he's trying to talk about how it feels like to be stuck in a society that won't let you have freedom of expression, yet at the same time he does express himself. He expresses himself so well that the authorities who check, who have to censor everything, were kind of perplexed by his work, because they couldn't tell, what is this guy doing? Is he talking shit about the commies or what? So this is just a beautiful book that allows you to explore Soviet cinema in before the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Now, when we talk about coffee table books, remember they're usually books that are photographs with text, minimal text, inspires conversation by your cocktail guest. So what is it? What should a coffee table book include? I guess it's basically a visually orientated, high quality photographs with minimal text. And obviously I've shown you quite a few books, and some of them don't have minimal text, but you can still explore the content, the beautiful photographs with the annotated written commentary that, for individual photographs. And so they do for, excuse me, bloody hell. So they, for me, do inspire the fact that they are coffee table books. I think people still buy coffee table books. I think people buy them more for gifts for other people. And I think that's great, because someone, will all say, what does so-and-so like? What do they enjoy? What are they into? And people will go out and search. So if you're looking for a gift for someone you love, and someone that you want, give them something of substance, you can spend, obviously, books go for, coffee table books, we're talking $60 up. You can get coffee table books that cost $500. What I'm saying, you don't have to buy that. But put it this way, you buy a $500 coffee table book, someone's going to keep it because it's beautifully, beautifully done. And it is a piece of work in itself, that you own a piece of art that is just gone to the limits of publishing, printing, illustrations, photographs, and text. So when you think of coffee table books, cocktail table books, think about any subject, go to your bookshops, look around, and you will find plenty of books that you can find to inspire yourself, to inspire your own creative thoughts, your own interests. They are a wonderful resource in literature, in books, and reading in general. So I hope you stuck by me for this entire episode. And just before I go, I'm just reading Dan Simmons' Limpos, which is the second volume of his wacky, wild sort of series from Ilium. And this sort of Dan Simmons kind of incorporates Homer's Iliad, Odysseus, and all the Greek gods, and turns it into a mash of science fiction and history and ancient history. And it's pretty mad. It is kind of frustrating to read sometimes, but on the whole, it's one of those reads that is special, and it's proving to be entertaining to the best of things. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next episode, which will be 68, and I don't sure what I'm going to be doing, but I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the next Galbraith Strike novel, the next Jack Carr novel. Also, I'm back on Tinder, and if you see me, give me a swipe right. Thanks. So, if anything, I remember an episode of Seinfeld where Kramer built I think I showed you. I think I put the okay. Cut here.